Hopefully y'all can go home. And please don't ever come back to the store as long as I'm working.
Put a note in there. Put a note in there.
No, you're playing games. We don't have time for that. Bro, don't even talk to me. Good night. It's a wrap.
What up, though? This is that dude, my dude, and I know it's been a minute. I know, it's been quite a while. But welcome back to Planet Brooklyn Supreme. I know, like I said, it's been a while, but we are taking a different approach. Long gone are the days of the live cops and the unboxings and things of that sort. But we're gonna switch over to like a video essay format, and for the first video, I want to cover the topic. Well, I was thinking, thinking what happened to Supreme and, what became of it. And it just got me wondering, did Supreme get too big for their britches? So today we're going to be highlighting how Supreme's commercial success led to its downfall as the brand to wear in the streetwear community. As you all know, because Supreme, they've been doing their thing. They've been holding it down for a minute, but it's getting the Pac Sun treatment at the moment. So today we're going to do a quick deep dive into the Supreme acquisition with Carlisle Group and all that good stuff. But let's just get into it. So at this point, the story of Supreme is known far and wide. But for those who aren't aware, Supreme started in 1994 out of 274 Lafayette Street in Soho, New York. At its inception, it instantly became a hub for the skate community since, according to the creator, James Jebbia, at the time, there was nowhere else to buy skate products in that area. And also, let me give you a full disclaimer, the Soho that you know today, where it's all happy-go-lucky, everybody's shopping and all that good stuff, it was vastly different in the 90s. But, getting back on track, James Jebbia started Supreme while still working at Stussy, which was also in the area, and it took off instantly. But also, another quick sidebar, James Jebbia has a brother, Dan, who was the creator and owner of Clientele, which was literally across the street, and they had one of the sickest sneaker collections available, including some of the rarest Nike SBs at retail long before the hype, but we're gonna save that for another video. But getting back on track, although Supreme was an instant success, it began to gain a substantial following among the underground and streetwear community for its collaborations, special releases, and sense of exclusivity that came with it. Back then, there were no restocks, or not as many restocks that we see today. There was no web store, or at least until the fall/winter 2006 season anyway. So if you wanted Supreme, you had to physically be there. And luckily at that time, if you were into the brand, like, you could physically walk in the store, there would be a little line here and there, but it was nothing near to the scale that, we see today, where you have to do the online signups and, blah. So, you was able to get in there without having to wait in line or wait long at all. You didn't have to deal with security or anything, that's kind of like the norm now. But the rise of Supreme supremacy, see what I did there, started to percolate around 2002 and 2003 when they respectively released their Nike SB collabs, which you can see here. You have the black cements, and then you have the Supreme high top Nike SBs. So these came a long way from their first footwear collab with their longtime partner Vans in 1996. And these two sneakers right here, like, they inevitably went on to become sneaker grails to this day. So, used pairs of black cement Supreme Dunks, you can find them for around $3,000, with the dead stock pair going for around an outrageous $4,000 to $10,000, depending on the size and depending on where you get them from. But also remember, between 2002 and 2007, Dunks were 85, 90 bucks. You know, the most you would pay were probably like 110 and things of that sort. Like, you could literally walk into the store and get the Tiffany Dunks for $110. Like, you can go and get the Dunkles for $110. Like, you and you know, and there was an abundance of Dunks. Yeah, you could easily find a rare pair for retail, or a pair that we would consider rare now. You know, it was just regular back then. But you know, but it was also if you knew where to look. Of course, you wasn't finding these in all sneaker stores and things of that sort. So, like, if you knew where to look, you know, Video on Days, Quality Meats, OG Flight Club, KCDC, you know, could be on the horizon. But, you know, you gotta let me know if you're into that. If you want it, I'll give it to you. But if not, it's cool. But we're gonna get back on track. From that point, the Supreme rocket ship was getting ready to take off. With the hype from their previous season's photo tee featuring Dipset, the creation of their web store for the launch of the Fall/Winter 2006 season, and its first North Face collaboration in 2007, and a slew of hype and interesting and rather questionable drops later, Supreme seemed poised for a mainstream takeover. But, you know, they still kept a low profile, and they stayed true to their core audience. But then the money came a-knocking. In 2017, private equity firm the Carlyle Group purchased a majority stake in Supreme for $500 million after the company was valued at a whopping $1 billion. At this point, Supreme had reached its commercial peak, but at the risk of losing its core audience. At peak Supreme hype, most of the weekly faithful had systems in place on how to secure spots in the newly unveiled online reservation system to help bring some type of order to the physical experience, while the online experience was still the Wild Wild West. You know, there's bots, canceled orders, running rampant, and all that good stuff. I even got my orders canceled a couple times and been prevented from being able to check out myself when I tried using bots, but that's another L for another day. So the Carlyle Group is essentially a reseller on a different scale where they purchase and flip companies. And although a lot of the Supreme aesthetic remains the same, ultimately the Carlyle deal essentially killed off that sense of exclusivity that surrounded the brand for so long, to the point where there's been too much reach and too much access. Carlyle ultimately focused on the bottom line and ended up selling Supreme to the VF Corporation, who owns Timberland, Vans, North Face, and JanSport, just to name a few, for an eye-watering $2.1 billion in 2020. Now, don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with people having more access to Supreme now more than ever, and I hope that they find the same enjoyment in the brand as I did from the first time when I hit on any drop to the time where I was able to get a box logo 2 years in a row, bro, online. You feel me? Manual, no box, no nothing. I did that. You know, just one of the things, or even waiting in line for like 7-8 hours just so you could get a freaking scale or some stackable cups that you'll never use and things of that sort, just because it says Supreme and it looks cool, you know, just to say you have it. You know, to some people, Supreme is definitely more than a brand. It's more than a lifestyle. It's a community, you know, and to some people that community can be a little obnoxious at times, but you know, they're a community that holds one another down. Like I said, the conversations that spark up, the ciphers that you have online for the people that participate in the 420 festivities, or even running into your friends who are waiting in line that just happen to get a better number than you. You know, like this was all part of the experience, you know, that was Supreme. And I don't think that a lot of the new crowd is going to experience that. You know, of course, it'll be different experiences. They'll be experiencing Supreme in a different facet or whatever. But as long as they get to immerse themselves in the streetwear world, you know, I think they'll be fine. So, you know, that pretty much sums it up perfectly, or at least from my perspective. You know, Supreme was, for lack of better words, an experience. And for you to fully understand what Supreme was before it went fully corporate, you definitely had to be there. You know, so like I said, it's pretty much it. That's my take on how Supreme got too big for their britches and grew from their core audience to something way bigger than they could ever imagine. You know, and by no means this is not me saying that Supreme is dead. You know, just saying that it's changed. And, you know, sometimes not everybody is keen to change, but you know, sometimes change is needed. So Supreme, thank you for the time, thank you for the memories and all that good stuff. We wish you the best on all your future endeavors. You feel me? But this is the first issue of the video essay format that we're going to be doing on Planet Brooklyn Supreme. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. I know the audio is not the best and all that good stuff, but we are going to be building this as we fly it, so expect improvements along the way. This is that dude, my dude. You can find all of my social media info down in the comments below. Any comments or questions that you have, please drop them down. I'll be sure to answer them. And you know, if there's any brands that you want me to cover, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will be covering clientele in the future. That might be the next video, but you know, also let me know what other brands you was feeling. It doesn't have to be retro or OG or vintage or whatever, but just let me know. You feel me? All right, so with that being said, this has been the first issue of I Don't Know. We're gonna figure that out. And I've been your host, that dude, my dude. And until next time, I'm out like big toes with small socks. Peace.